Right now, someone is controlling your mind, and you probably think it's your idea. You're not in control. Your decisions, your desires, even your opinions are being engineered. And the scariest part? You probably like it. Let me ask you something. Why do you think you made your last decision? Was it logic? Free will? Personal preference? Chances are, it wasn't. You are the product of invisible forces. Algorithms, persuasion tactics, primal triggers, all embedded into your environment like psychological landmines. And the people who planted them? They know exactly what they're doing. Social media? It's not just a habit. It's a lab experiment. Everything from the notification sound to the color red in your likes is designed to manipulate your brain chemistry. Apps like Instagram and TikTok don't just show you content, they exploit variable reward systems. The same strategy used in slot machines. Every scroll is a pull of the lever. You're chasing dopamine spikes, and they're cashing in on your addiction. But it goes deeper. You're being primed constantly. Subliminal images, emotionally charged headlines, even how someone phrases a sentence can guide your perception. It's called framing, one of the most powerful tools in the dark psychology toolbox. Example, new technology will revolutionize your job. Versus, new technology may replace your job. Same topic, different framing, completely different emotional response. Every day you walk through a minefield of manipulation. Most people never see it. They feel it, but can't name it. They follow trends, mimic influencers, vote based on fear, crave what they're told to want, and they think it's just life. But it's not. It's engineered psychology, and it's getting more precise every day. Think you're immune? That's the first sign. You're not. In this series, we're diving deep into the exact psychological tactics that shape your world. From manipulation in relationships to the lies buried in media, politics, and advertising. It's not a conspiracy. It's behavioral science. Weaponized. Hit subscribe. In the next episode, we'll reveal the 7 tactics every master manipulator uses.
These are the 7 psychological tricks used by manipulators. And once you know them, you'll start seeing them everywhere. Let's break them down. 1. Mirroring. Manipulators copy your posture, tone, and language. Why? It builds false trust. You feel like they get you, but it's just a psychological trick. 2. Love bombing. They flood you with praise, gifts, and attention. It creates instant emotional dependence. Then when they pull away, you chase the high. 3. Gaslighting. They distort reality, make you question your memory, your feelings, even your sanity. You start thinking you're the problem, when it's them all along. 4. Triangulation. They pit people against each other, using third parties to stir jealousy or tension. It keeps everyone off balance and keeps them in control. 5. Playing the victim. Even when they're clearly in the wrong, they flip the script to make you feel guilty. They hijack your empathy, so you stop defending yourself. 6. Future faking. They talk about a big future with you. Marriage, success, happiness. But it's just bait. They never plan to deliver. It's only meant to keep you hooked. 7. Silent treatment. They suddenly go cold. No response. No affection. It triggers panic. And in that panic, you'll give up your boundaries just to get them back. These aren't quirks. They're tactics, each one carefully designed to bypass your logic and control your emotions. And here's what most people miss. Master manipulators don't always look evil. They can be charming, funny, even generous. But underneath, it's all strategy. Once you learn these tactics, you stop blaming yourself. You stop falling for the same patterns. And you start taking your power back. In the next episode, we'll break down the dark triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy, and how to spot them in real life. Hit subscribe. This rabbit hole only gets deeper.
They can charm a room, fake empathy, and lie without blinking. These are dark triad personalities, and they're more common than you think. The dark triad refers to 3 dangerous personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Let's break them down. 1. Narcissism. Narcissists crave admiration. They inflate their accomplishments, demand attention, and feel superior. But underneath, they're deeply insecure. Criticism feels like an attack, so they react with rage, manipulation, or guilt trips. 2. Machiavellianism. Machiavellians are cold, calculating, and strategic. They don't care about right or wrong. They care about results. Every relationship is a tool. Every compliment is a move. They'll lie, flatter, and scheme as long as it gets them what they want. 3. Psychopathy. Psychopaths are the most dangerous. They lack empathy, no guilt, no remorse. They can mimic emotions, smile, cry, even comfort you. But they feel nothing. To them, people are objects. And emotions? Just weapons to be used. Here's the terrifying part. Many dark triad personalities are high-functioning. They're CEOs, influencers, even romantic partners. They know how to appear normal. They know how to blend in. But when pressure hits, when control is threatened, their mask slips. And what comes out is cold, ruthless, and calculated. So how do you protect yourself? 1. Watch how they react to boundaries. 2. Pay attention to how they treat people they can't gain from. 3. Never ignore your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. In the next episode, we'll break down gaslighting, how it works, who uses it, and why even smart people fall for it. Hit subscribe. We're just getting started. They lie. You catch them. But somehow, you end up apologizing. That's not miscommunication. That's gaslighting. One of the most dangerous manipulation tactics in dark psychology. So what is it? Gaslighting is when someone deliberately twists your reality. They deny things you saw, rewrite past conversations, make you question your memory, your perception, even your sanity. It starts subtle. You say, "That really hurt me." They respond, "You're overreacting. You're too sensitive." "I never said that." Over time, you stop trusting your own judgment. You doubt your feelings. You second-guess your memory. You begin to rely on them to define what's real. That's the trap. Gaslighting isn't always loud. It's often disguised as concern, or jokes, or honest feedback. But here's what it really is: psychological warfare. Why do manipulators do it? Because it gives them control. If they can control your perception, they can control your emotions, your actions, and even your identity. This tactic shows up in relationships, friendships, the workplace, even politics and media. Gaslighters aren't always monsters. They can be charismatic, caring, even loving, when it serves them. But their goal is always the same: to make you feel like the unstable one, to make you apologize for noticing the truth. So how do you know it's happening? Here are the red flags. 1. You constantly apologize, even when you're not sure what you did wrong. 2. You feel like you're walking on eggshells. 3. You start telling yourself, "Maybe I'm just too sensitive." 4. You defend them, even to yourself, while silently falling apart. Sound familiar? You're not broken. You're being broken down, slowly, methodically, intentionally. And now you see it. In the next episode, we'll expose how media, branding, and even politicians use psychological framing to influence your thoughts, without you even noticing. Hit subscribe. You're learning to see the game. And that's how you take back control.
You're not just being entertained, you're being trained. TV, news, social media, they don't just inform, they program. This is mind control. And the most dangerous part? You won't even notice it's happening. Let me show you how. Every story you hear, every ad you scroll past, every headline you read, they're not random. They're crafted using psychological techniques designed to guide how you think, what you fear, and even who you trust. It's called framing. By changing just a few words, a message can feel completely different. Example: protesters demand justice versus angry mobs cause chaos. Same event, different frame, entirely different emotional reaction. But it gets deeper. News channels use fear priming. They flood you with threats, crime, disasters, enemies, outrage, because fear is the fastest way to hijack your attention. And once you're afraid, you're easier to manipulate. Social media? It's a dopamine slot machine. But beyond that, it's a system of emotional control. You're shown content that fits your existing beliefs because it keeps you engaged. It keeps you angry, scrolling, divided, and addicted. But here's the twist. They also sneak in sponsored messages, influencer deals, political ads, all camouflaged as normal content. It's not just about clicks, it's about influence. And the more you consume, the more your worldview is shaped by people you've never met. Even movies and shows use subtle conditioning. Heroes always look a certain way. Villains speak with specific accents. Relationships follow the same scripts. This repetition wires your brain to accept certain things as normal, even if they're toxic, untrue, or manipulated. This isn't a conspiracy. It's psychology, weaponized at scale. So, how do you break the spell? 1. Question emotional reactions. If something makes you instantly angry, afraid, or outraged, pause. Ask yourself, why was this framed this way? 2. Diversify your input. Follow people you disagree with. Consume news from multiple perspectives. Your brain needs contrast to think critically. 3. Stop doom scrolling. You don't win by consuming more. You win by becoming more aware. Mind control doesn't always look like a hypnotist swinging a watch. It looks like a TikTok, a headline, a trending sound. You've already been programmed. Now it's time to wake up. In the next episode, we'll break down the psychology of influence and the 6 weapons of persuasion that control what people buy, believe, and obey. Hit subscribe, because awareness is the first form of resistance. You think you're making choices, but are you? The truth is, most of your decisions were made for you, before you even realized you had a choice. This isn't magic. It's influence science, a psychological toolkit used in marketing, politics, and manipulation. Let's break down the 6 hidden forces that control your behavior every day. 1. Reciprocity. If someone gives you something, even a smile, a compliment, or a freebie, you'll feel pressure to return the favor. That's why brands offer free trials, gifts, or bonuses. Not to be nice, but to trigger your guilt reflex. It works in relationships too. Manipulators give just enough kindness to make you feel like you owe them. 2. Commitment and consistency. Once you say yes to something small, you're more likely to say yes again, even to bigger requests. That's the foot in the door technique. Say yes once, and suddenly, you're in deeper than you meant to be. 3. Social proof. People copy people. We assume if others are doing something, it must be the right thing. That's why reviews, likes, and testimonials work. It's why people follow trends without question. And it's why cults, scams, and toxic groups thrive. 4. Authority. We're trained to trust uniforms, titles, and confidence. Even if the person is completely wrong, if they look like an expert, we obey. That's how fake experts manipulate large audiences. It's how influencers sell lies with a smile. 5. Liking. We say yes more often to people we like. Attractive, relatable, funny. Doesn't matter if they're truthful. Our brains go soft when we feel connection. That's why manipulators often appear charming. Their likability is the bait, not the truth. 6. Scarcity. If something feels limited, we want it more. Only 2 left. Offer expires in 1 hour. It sparks fear of missing out and overrides your logic. Scarcity sells, and it controls your urgency. These 6 weapons of influence aren't illegal. They're everywhere. And when used ethically, they can be helpful. But in the wrong hands, they can strip you of your freedom, your money, and your mind. So next time you feel rushed, flattered, pressured, or sold to, ask yourself, is this what I want? Or is this what I'm being guided toward? In the next episode, we'll explore how psychological warfare plays out in personal relationships and the invisible rules that keep you trapped in toxic dynamics. Hit subscribe because you deserve to be free from invisible influence. Some people don't fight with fists. They fight with silence, with guilt, with confusion. This is psychological warfare, and it happens most often in relationships. Romantic, family, even friendships. Not all abuse leaves bruises. Let's break down how manipulators gain power and why victims often don't even realize it's happening. Step 1. Isolation. They pull you away from your support system. Friends, family, hobbies, they all start to fade. Why? Because the less support you have, the more you rely on them. Step 2. Emotional whiplash. One day, they're loving and generous. The next, cold and distant. You never know where you stand, so you work harder to win back the good version of them. That's the trap. Step 3. Blame shifting. You bring up something that hurts you. They twist it. Suddenly you're apologizing. You're defending yourself. And you don't even know how you got there. This isn't communication. It's a strategy to make you feel like the problem. Step 4. Control disguised as care. They just want to protect you. They know what's best. They love you too much to let you make that mistake. But love doesn't control. Love doesn't silence. Love doesn't erase who you are. And the scariest part? It's so gradual, you barely notice. You shrink just a little. You stop sharing your opinion. You question your worth. Until one day, you don't recognize yourself anymore. But here's the truth. Real love doesn't make you doubt your memory. It doesn't punish you for having boundaries. It doesn't use fear to keep you close. If you feel like you're constantly explaining yourself, if you walk on eggshells, if you're scared of their moods, that's not love. That's psychological control. The first step out is awareness. The second is support. The third is reminding yourself, you are not crazy. You were targeted. But now you're getting your power back. If this hit home, hit like, drop a comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Because in the next episode, we're uncovering how narcissists use empathy as a weapon and how to protect your heart without closing it off. You're not alone. And this channel? It's your armor. Empathy is supposed to be a strength, but in the wrong hands, it becomes a weapon. Narcissists don't just lie. They use your kindness, your compassion, and your desire to understand against you. This is one of the darkest tactics in psychological manipulation: weaponized empathy. Here's how it works. Step 1. They mirror you. They pretend to care. They reflect your values. They say the right things. You think, finally, someone who gets me. But it's all performance. They're gathering intel so they can use your emotional wiring to gain control. Step 2. They play the victim. They'll tell you stories of trauma, betrayal, pain. Some of it may even be true. But the goal isn't connection. The goal is leverage. The more you feel sorry for them, the more you'll forgive the red flags, the lies, the manipulation, the sudden distance, because they've just been through so much. Step 3. They flip the script. If you express hurt, you're too sensitive. If you set a boundary, you're selfish or cruel. They twist your empathy into guilt. until you start questioning yourself instead of questioning their behavior. Step 4. They trauma bond you. They create chaos, then comfort. Hurt you, then hold you. Break you down, then build you back up. It forms a deep emotional hook, not because of love, but because of psychological dependency. And here's what makes it so hard to leave. You're not just protecting them. You're protecting your idea of them. The version they showed you in the beginning. The one who understood you. The one who cried, who opened up, who seemed real. But here's the truth. Empathy without boundaries is self-destruction. You can love deeply and still walk away. You can care and still protect your peace. The right people won't use your heart as a weapon. They'll treat it like something sacred. If this felt uncomfortably familiar, hit like. Drop a comment, even just a dot, if you've seen this play out. And most importantly, subscribe. Because in Part 9, we're exposing the most dangerous manipulation of all. The one where you don't even know you're being manipulated. It's subtle, it's strategic, and it happens every single day. Stay sharp. Some manipulation is obvious, but the most dangerous kind, you don't even realize it's happening. No yelling, no lies, no guilt trips, just suggestions, subtle tones, carefully chosen words. This is covert manipulation, and it rewires how you think, feel, and behave without force. Let's break down how it works. 1. Strategic silence. Sometimes, saying nothing is more powerful than anything said out loud. They ignore a text just long enough to make you feel anxious. They pause just long enough to make you doubt your words. That silence becomes a message, one that says, "You messed up. You owe me. You're chasing now." 2. Micro-criticisms. They don't insult you outright. They chip away at your confidence one tiny comment at a time. That shirt's bold. Are you sure you want to say that in front of them? Wow, that's one way to do it. Each one seems harmless, but over time they change how you see yourself. 3. Passive praise. They give compliments with strings attached. "I like it when you're not so dramatic. You're so chill today. I wish you could always be like this." It sounds positive, but it's really a warning. Don't change. Don't express emotion. Stay exactly how I want you to be. 4. Information withholding. They keep you just out of the loop. They forget to tell you things. They make plans without you, but act like it was innocent. This creates insecurity. It forces you to ask, chase, wonder, and in that wondering, you lose power. 5. Feigned confusion. They act like they don't understand your concerns. "Wait, why are you upset again? I don't get what you're trying to say." It's not confusion. It's a tactic, a way to make you feel irrational, so you'll drop it, so they don't have to take responsibility. These tactics work not because they're loud, but because they're invisible. They bypass your defenses, and by the time you realize what's happening, your confidence is gone, your voice is quiet, and you've learned to question your truth. But not anymore. Now you see it. Drop a comment if any of these felt familiar. Like this video to help others spot it too. And subscribe, because in the final episode we reveal how to fight back, the proven psychological counter-strategies to reclaim your mind, your power, and your peace. This isn't just awareness. This is your reset. You've seen the tactics, the lies, the silent treatments, the mind games. But now, it's time to fight back. This is how you take your power back, with proven psychological tools that neutralize manipulation and rebuild control over your life. Let's get into it. Step 1. Name the game. The moment you recognize manipulation, you take away its power. Call it what it is. That's gaslighting. That's emotional blackmail. Naming it doesn't just clarify it for you. It forces the manipulator to back off. Because once you're aware, you're no longer easy to control. Step 2. Disrupt the pattern. Manipulators rely on predictable reactions. You get defensive. You explain. You chase. Stop playing your part. Instead of arguing, try silence. Instead of explaining, say, "I'm not engaging with this dynamic anymore." It disorients them, because it shows you're thinking, not reacting. Step 3. Set hard boundaries and hold them. Say things like, "If you keep yelling, I'm leaving the conversation." "You don't get access to me when you treat me like that." Boundaries aren't threats. They're facts. And every time you enforce one, you retrain your brain to protect itself. Step 4. Reconnect with your reality. Gaslighting works because it clouds your perception. Combat this by journaling. Talk to trusted friends. Get outside perspectives. Your truth is valid. You don't need permission to believe it. Step 5. Stop apologizing for having needs. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to walk away, even from someone you love. Empathy is a gift, but without boundaries, it becomes a trap. Here's the truth. You don't need to outsmart every manipulator. You just need to be so rooted in your self-awareness that no one can shake it loose. Because the strongest form of resistance is a regulated, grounded, self-honoring mind. If this series helped you see what you couldn't before, hit like. Share your story in the comments. You'll help others feel less alone. And most importantly, subscribe. Because the journey doesn't end here. We're just getting started. The next series? How to rebuild your identity after years of being manipulated. You broke the illusion. Now it's time to become unstoppable.